My name is Lavender Otom, a fourth-year student at the University of Nairobi, studying Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, currently at my fourth year of study. I'm 23 years old. I grew up in Kisumu City, a small town in Kenya, and growing up, it was just business as usual. I never saw anything out of the ordinary until I got to my adolescent years. Something changed along the way. My mother was a single mother, and my dad died when we were about 2 years old, and we were 3 siblings. All of us were girls, and so the vulnerability started from the family level. Initially, growing up, there was nothing wrong. Things moved, life went on as usual, but I started noticing that most of my classmates at that early age, that time I was just in my primary school, started dropping out of school, and the reason was either early pregnancies, or some of them got married at that age. My mother was quite the lion. She would not allow any boy even 100 meters near our home, and I think that was the survival mechanism that allowed us to cross over from that crucial stage in life. Kisumu City is one of those towns that is always exemplified whenever a talk on reproductive health or sexual activity or HIV and AIDS is being brought up anywhere in this country. And the basic reason is the sexual debut for most of the girls is at as early as 9 years of age, which is a very sad thing that most of the people have acclimatized to, and the complacency with which the matter is being treated is also a matter that is quite disheartening. So as a Form 1 student, I'm glad I went to a school that really played a huge role in empowering me and showing me that 100 shillings being exchanged for sex was nothing to look at, or when you compare to how bright the future would be eventually. In Kisumu, sex is something that is hooked, and even a 7-year-old girl can very well explain to you the whole process, and it's something that is really shocking, but it is the reality on the ground. Looking back, as 23 years later into my life, I can say that most of the decisions I made at that young age of 13 years have really influenced what I've turned out to be. Where we went wrong is that sexual reproductive education was left to the church. The parents always just say that all they need to do is just empower these girls and ensure they provide them with the basic needs, that is food, shelter and education, and they leave the rest to the church. Parents will not tell you what to do, what not to do. So for the young people engaging in sex, the basic information and the empowerment needs to start from the household level, from the parents. They need to open up and talk to these girls and tell them the do's and the don'ts and give them the facts, other than let them poo in some cocoons and rumor about these issues with so much uncertainties, yet the parents have most if not all the details about it. Contraceptives has been a very controversial matter. In the year 2008, Kenya Demographic Health Survey showed that the contraceptive prevalence rate in this country was quite low, and the unmet need for contraceptives was at 26%. That is in legitimate marriages, 13% for preventing pregnancy and 13% for family planning. That is quite low, owing to countries like South Africa having contraceptive prevalence rates as high as 80% and others even as like 90%. Our country is barely at 50%. So the first thing about contraceptives is that the uptake has been low because most of the people who need the contraceptives do not have access to them. And those who have access to contraceptives don't go for them because our healthcare system has been structured in such a way that it is 50-year-olds who run those clinics where contraceptives are given. So a 13-year-old wanting to engage in sex, which as much as we are telling them not to, they still do. So if they go to these clinics and the 50-year-old lady, they tell the 50-year-old lady, Mom, I would like to get a contraceptive method. And this lady tells them, have you talked to your mother? This girl will never come back to that clinic, and they'll never get access to that contraceptive. So that is one thing. The access has been limited by the way the system has been structured. If we want these girls to get those contraceptives, we need to design youth-friendly services so that whenever they go to those places, they can get adequate counseling to be told about the ABCs, that is abstinence, and ensuring that they use dual methods of contraception, including aspects like condoms. So one, access to the nature of the services, they are not youth-friendly. And third, the knowledge about contraceptives. It's not just about swallowing a morning after pill. It's not just about adhering to an oral or a combined contraceptive. It's not just about getting an IUCD inserted in you. You need to know why, when, and how appropriately they should be used.